Ryan woke up to the sound of breaking glass. His hand instinctively reached for the bedside table where the gun used to be, but now there was only a bottle of Xanax. The psychiatrist said that imaginary stalkers are a side effect of stress. He went to the window, pulling back the blinds. The street is deserted, except for a van with the GreenLife sanitation logo, which has been on duty at the neighbor's house for a week. The Carter family disappeared yesterday. In the morning, their lawn was perfectly manicured, and there was a box on the porch that said, "Thank you for your cooperation." Paranoid, Lisa grumbled as Ryan checked the locks for the 5th time. "They're just scavengers." She didn't see how one of them stared at their daughter Emma yesterday when she was riding a bike. He froze like a robot, with a garbage bag in his hand. Then he took out his phone and took a picture of something. Main plot, beginning. The next morning, Emma disappeared. There were no screams, no signs of a struggle, just an empty bed and an open window. The police made a report in 10 minutes, "Teenage riot. She'll come back on her own." "You saw their van." Ryan grabbed the officer's sleeve. "They've been here for a month. GreenLife has an impeccable reputation." The officer pulled back. "Maybe you should see your psychiatrist." Lisa was sobbing in the car, clutching Emma's stuffed rabbit. Ryan noticed traces on the primer, drops of blue liquid, like antifreeze. They led to an abandoned factory on the outskirts. He turned the key in the ignition. What if it's a trap? Lisa clutched his arm. "Then we'll know something." The factory was not abandoned. Behind the rusty gates are the latest cameras, retina scanners, speakers with the GreenLife logo. Ryan parked behind a concrete block. Lisa pointed at the van driving into the hangar. Emma's pink sneaker flashed in the back. They made their way through the ventilation shaft. Below, under the grate, a workshop opened, dozens of transparent capsules in which people swam. A man in a bathrobe was walking towards Emma, who was connected to the tubes. "Sample 34G demonstrates resistance to the pathogen," his voice echoed through the hall. "We're starting the toxicity test." Lisa screamed as he injected a syringe with black liquid into Emma's arm. Ryan jumped down, grabbing a tire iron. The tire iron pierced the shoulder of the man in the bathrobe. He collapsed to the floor with a hoarse groan. Ryan pulled the syringe out of Emma's hand, but the liquid had already disappeared into the vein. "Dad." Emma coughed, her eyes rolling back in her head. Graphs flashed on the monitor above the capsule. The heartbeat accelerated, the temperature jumped to 41. "What did you do to her?" Lisa grabbed the doctor by the collar, shaking him like a rag doll. "The vaccine." He was wheezing, wiping blood from his lips. Ryan hit him again. Silence this time. He grabbed a map from the pocket of his lab coat, a diagram of the plant marked Zone Q, Intensive Care, Disposal. Here, Lisa pointed to the first aid kit with the A34 antidote. "It should help." They injected Emma with 2 ampoules. The girl shuddered, foam with an admixture of blood gushed out of her mouth. "Take her to the exit." Ryan scooped his daughter up in his arms. But the doors slammed shut. A calm female voice sounded from the speakers. "Violation of protocol. Quarantine has been activated." The walls of the workshop shook, and steel shields dropped from the ceiling. Lisa rushed to the ventilation, but the saw was already buzzing there. Someone was cutting the grate. "Over there." Ryan nodded toward the hallway marked archive. The room was littered with folders. Lisa found the file with Emma's photo, subject 34G. 14 Lakeview Street. The reason for the choice: genetic resistance to H5N1 flu. They were watching us. Lisa flipped through the reports. Every week there are analyses of their garbage, recordings from drone cameras, even school medical records. Ryan hacked the computer. Correspondence is displayed on the screen. Customer 4789 has approved the batch. We are starting to collect donors from the group of 34. The Carter family didn't fit. Dispose of it after the test. Below is a video, Mr. Carter in a capsule, his skin blistered while a technician in a protective suit recorded the data. We're not the first, Ryan swallowed. And not the last. Emma groaned. Black veins stood out on her arm. Lisa applied a tourniquet, but her veins throbbed as if worms were crawling under her skin. We need a real antidote, she rummaged through the closet. A34 is a placebo. It's all a lie. Ryan found a hard drive marked backup. Destroy in case of emergency. I put it in my backpack. It will kill them, he pointed to the GreenLife logo in the documents. We post everything online. But the computer screen went blank. A projector blinked on the wall. Mr. Hayes, the CEO of GreenLife, said from the screen with a TV presenter's smile. You do understand, right, even if you break out, who will believe a psycho with fake evidence? Your wife. The camera switched to Lisa's apartment. She was sitting there. Liza. Same sweater, same hairstyle. A clone? CGI? She pressed her hands to her face in horror. Artificial intelligence, Ryan smashed the projector. They'll replace us if we escape. Suddenly Emma jumped up, her eyes were glassy. They're in my head. She grabbed a scalpel. They say, murder. Lisa barely dodged. His daughter chased them down the hall, growling. It's not her. Ryan shoved Lisa into the elevator. Look for a way out. I'll distract you. The elevator took Lisa downstairs. Ryan ran to the control panel, Emma on his heels. He hit the emergency flood button. Sirens, the ceiling opened, foam with caustic chlorine gushed out. Emma screamed, falling to her knees. I'm sorry, Ryan ran out to the dock, where Lisa was starting the stolen truck. They burst onto the highway, and the factory exploded behind them. Emma was lying in the back seat, breathing through her mouth. Where to? Lisa was shaking. Ryan took out the investigative reporter's business card. The one who asked about GreenLife a year ago and disappeared. The truck was speeding along a deserted highway, its headlights tearing chunks of asphalt out of the darkness. Emma was delirious in the back seat, her fingers digging into her skin, leaving bloody streaks. Lisa tried to hold her down, but her daughter broke away, hitting her head against the glass. She needs a doctor. Lisa shouted, but Ryan was already turning onto the dirt road to Ray's dilapidated farm. The journalist met them with a shotgun. His face is riddled with scars, and his left eye is cloudy and sightless. You brought them here, he pointed the gun at Ryan. Surveillance is everywhere. We have proof, Ryan tossed the hard drive at his feet. GreenLife, experiments, everything. Ray laughed, picking up the disc. It's garbage. They changed everything a long time ago. He inserted the disc into the computer. The screen was filled with photos of cats and recipes. Viruses are not needed when you have an army of hackers. Emma screamed, rushing to the exit. Lisa knocked her to the floor, wrapping her in bandages. She was rummaging through Ray's medicine cabinet. Do you have a laboratory? Chemicals? The lab? Ray pointed to a shed with rusty equipment. There's only what hasn't been burned. They tranquilized Emma. Ray brought up satellite images on the monitor, dozens of GreenLife plants disguised as waste recycling stations. They're everywhere, he pointed to a spot on the map. Your city is a test area. The next step is megacities. Ryan took out his phone. The viral video from the factory explosion has gained millions of views, but the comments under the post were already full of, fake, where is the evidence? We need a living witness, Lisa pointed at Emma. Her blood, the tests. So what? Ray opened the server. They will say that you infected her yourself. Suddenly Emma sat up. Her voice sounded mechanical. GreenLife guarantees safety. Resistance is useless. Ryan pulled back. A blue vein bulged on her daughter's neck, and a chip glimmered under her skin. Ray opened the flesh with a scalpel. The chip exploded, almost tearing off his fingers. They found us. Trucks with the GreenLife logo surrounded the farm. An ultimatum sounded from the speakers. Return the 34G sample. Get rewarded. Failure is death. Ray launched a drone with a camera. Live broadcast, journalist Ray Kowalski is alive. GreenLife are murderers. Run to the tunnel, he threw them the keys to the old cellar. There are motorcycles. And you? Lisa grabbed his arm. I'll hold them off. Ray pulled out a grenade. Avenge everyone. They went down into a damp shaft. An explosion from above showered them with rocks. Emma came to her senses and cried. I remember everything. They implanted it in me. I cannot. We'll cut it out. Ryan started the bike. That's it. The hunt began on the surface. Drones with thermal imagers, dogs, helicopters. GreenLife declared them terrorists who took hostage an innocent employee, fake Lisa from an AI broadcast. They found an alcoholic doctor in an abandoned clinic. He agreed to help for a bottle of whiskey. The chip is in the brain stem, he showed the X-ray. Removal, 5% chance of survival. Emma grabbed a scalpel. Cut it. The clinic smelled of mold and iodine. Dr. Morrow, his hands shaking from withdrawal, was adjusting a rusty neurosurgical microscope. Emma was lying on the table, her head secured with makeshift straps. Lisa squeezed her hand, trying not to look at a set of shiny tools from an autoclave from the 70s. There's no anesthesia, Morrow warned, pouring whiskey into a glass. But it's for the best. If she screams, we'll know we've hit the wrong spot. Ryan turned on the flashlight strapped to the ceiling beam. The light was blinking, threatening to go out. An arrhythmic line was jumping on the screen of an old heart monitor. The first incision. Emma dug her nails into her mother's palm. Blood trickled down the metal, mixing with tears. Deeper, she whispered, swallowing a scream. Morrow inserted the probe. The screen showed white noise, interference from the chip. Damn, it's connected to the speech zone, the doctor wiped his forehead. Cutting it out will leave her speechless. Leave it, they'll find it. Suddenly, sirens began to wail outside. A smoke bomb rolled in through the broken window. Observe the isolation mode. The voice from the loudspeaker. Give me a sample of 34G. Ryan looked out. Drones with cameras and speakers filled the street. Viewers watched live as the terrorists hid the hostage, the very AI Lisa, sobbing at the window. They're playing for the audience, Lisa said, covering Emma with her body. We need their script. Ray managed to give them the passwords to the GreenLife servers before he died. Ryan connected his phone to Morrow's computer. Hacked the live stream. Look at the truth. He pointed the camera at the operation. The audience saw Emma with an open skull, a chip pulsing in her brain. The comments exploded, editing, where is the evidence, these are children. It doesn't work. Ryan swore. It's working, Emma pointed to the increase in views. They are afraid of panic. GreenLife has changed tactics. Drones started broadcasting. Fake relatives of the hostages begged to be saved. The police moved towards the clinic. Morrow pulled out the chip, throwing it into the acid. Emma screamed, blood gushing from her mouth. Stroke, the doctor started a heart massage. Decide, run or I will continue. Lisa grabbed the suitcase with the antidotes. Ryan shot at the drone, covering the window with a shield from the operating table. We're staying. Reviving, Emma whispered the coordinates. The chip had already loaded the data into her memory. Laboratory 13. The Phoenix Protocol. This is their main hub, she said, shaking. There are children. Like me. Ryan uploaded the map. The laboratory is an underground complex under the old university. Security, private army, AI systems, traps. Suicide, Morrow stitched up. But I'm with you. They slipped out through the sewer while the police were banging on the door. Ray's van was waiting in the tunnel with guns and explosives. A plan? Lisa was checking the clips. Destroy the data and samples, Ryan got behind the wheel. And bring out the children. And if they have already been modified? Emma stared at the scar in the mirror. If, how am I? The van shot off into the night. The voice of the GreenLife AI sounded in Ryan's headphones. We're offering a deal. Emma is alive as long as you bring her to us. On the phone screen is their teenage son, Jacob, whom they left with friends. He was led to a chamber with capsules. Duration, 2 hours. Or it will become a 35B sample. The van sped along a deserted highway, its headlights catching the reflections of road signs plastered with GreenLife posters. Your safety is our priority. Emma is huddled in the back seat, her breathing ragged, her fingers digging into the leather seat. Lisa flipped through the data from the chip on the tablet. The coordinates of Laboratory 13 were flickering like a poisonous firefly. Here, she zoomed in on the map. The underground entrance is through the old subway tunnel. Motion sensors every 10 meters. Ryan turned onto the dirt road leading to the abandoned station. Graffiti on the walls depicted children's faces with digital codes instead of eyes. Missing, Lisa realized. Morrow, still drunk but functional, laid the gun out on the hood. TNT, tasers, acid canisters for sensors. Don't count on anything more. Emma leaned against the wall, her hands shaking as she traced the contours of the lab in the air. There. Cells. Children in capsules with screens. They have nightmares to measure fear, Ryan shuddered. Jacob, their son, could be there now. He checked the clip, the last rounds. The subway tunnel turned out to be a trap. The first 50 meters are quiet. Then the walls began to shake from the hum of engines. Spider drones with needles filled with paralytic descended from the ceiling. Get back! Morrow shouted, but Lisa had already sprayed acid on the nearest sensor. The drone crashed, sparking. They ran, stumbling over the rails. Emma, clinging to consciousness, hacked into the terminal on the door. Password, date of the first test. The screen crackled. Welcome, Dr. Hayes. The elevator down was cramped, smelling of bleach. At a depth of 200 meters, the door opened into a white, sterile void. The AI's voice greeted them. Subject 34G is returning. We are starting the final phase. The corridor led to a room with hundreds of capsules. Each one has a child connected to VR helmets. On the screens above them are ratings: fear, 98%, resistance, 2%. Jacob. Lisa rushed to the capsule, where her son was convulsing. The screen showed his nightmare, a digital replica of the house where GreenLife agents killed his parents. Ryan hacked the panel. Jacob fell to the floor, sobbing. I thought you were dead. They showed it, over and over again. Morrow found the server room. The monitors showed live broadcasts of training sessions. Children were thrown into virtual apocalypses, selecting survivors. These are not experiments, Emma touched the screen. They're training soldiers. Insensitive. Obedient ones. The AI spoke again. The Phoenix protocol has been activated. Adult shipping will begin in 2 hours. Logos of military contracts appeared on the wall. GreenLife was selling a mind control system. Lisa uploaded the data to Ray's USB stick. The broadcast went online, but the lab screens showed the opposite: fake footage of terrorists torturing children. We need a physical storage medium. Ryan ripped the hard drive from the server. And a living witness. They took out 5 children, but they couldn't keep up with the rest. Morrow blew up the door, opening the way to the exit. The elevator is blocked. Emma tried to hack the panel. Through the ventilation. Running down the corridor, they heard screams. GreenLife agents injected the children with a blue solution, a new generation of chips. We can't leave them. Jacob tugged at his father's sleeve. If we die, no one will know the truth. Ryan pushed his son into the vent. They were waiting for them upstairs. TV cameras, police, and a crowd with placards reading, "Save our children from maniacs." The people had stones in their hands. Lisa ran to the microphone in tears. They killed my family. Stop them. The first stone broke through the windshield of the van. The crowd rushed to the van, stones raining down on the metal. Jacob covered Emma, whose face was covered in blood from a cut on her forehead. Lisa grabbed a megaphone, shouting into the cameras in desperation. Check their chips. Sewn under the collarbone. But her voice was drowned out by the roar of GreenLife. GreenLife. The agents in the crowd incited people by handing them scanners with fake readings. Ryan brought up recordings from the lab on the van's screens, children in capsules, doctors with syringes. The crowd slowed down, and some lowered their stones. Installation. Lisa was sobbing at the microphone. They're trying to distract us while they're accomplices. The explosion in the parking lot distracted everyone. 3 police cars were blown up. Morrow planted bombs in the engines. Run. Ryan pulled the van through the smoke. Gritting her teeth, Emma connected the hard drive to the cell tower. The data went into the public domain, videos of experiments, lists of donors, contracts with the military. Look at this. Jacob poked at a trending hashtag. Hashtag Greenlease comes first. But after a minute, the post started disappearing. Bloggers' accounts were blocked. Instead of the truth, fake apologies surfaced, hacked by hackers. They're too strong, Lisa hugged the trembling children. We need a loud gesture. Live broadcast without censorship. Ryan turned into the TV tower. Morrow took his gear out of the trunk. 15 minutes before the assault. The broadcast will be interrupted. On the roof, the wind tore at his clothes. Emma connected the camera to a satellite, and Jacob focused the lens on her scar. My name is Emma Hayes. I'm 14 years old, and GreenLife has turned me into a weapon. She raised the scalpel to her temple. They implanted the chip here. I'll prove it. Lisa screamed, but her daughter had already cut the skin. The camera zoomed in on a metal fragment in the wound. If I die, open my brain. You will find their technology. The crowd at the foot of the tower froze. Even the agents stopped shouting. Ryan whipped out a scalpel, pressing bandages to his daughter's head. You have one. We're giving up. Just let the medics check on her. The police moved forward. Lisa smiled at the camera until a doctor in a protective suit removed the chip from Emma's wound. This is our development. The GreenLife technician turned pale on live TV. The hashtag #ChipRavD blew up the network. People tested the children by finding metal under the skin. GreenLife has launched a counteroffensive. This is a special operation to discredit. Chips are part of therapy. But it was too late. The military terminated the contracts, the company's shares collapsed. The Hayes family was surrounded by journalists at the hospital. Lisa was holding Emma wrapped in a blanket. Ryan was looking at the screen where the president promised an investigation. Suddenly, Jacob screamed. Blood gushed from his nose. The ECG monitor shows the same abnormalities as Emma's before surgery. They injected me with something in the tunnel. He grabbed his father's arm. The Phoenix. Activated. Jacob passed away the same night. His body was taken away for investigation, but the next day GreenLife published a report. Tragic mistake. The Hayes family used banned biotechnologies on their own son. Emma, having become a symbol of resistance, disappeared a week later. In the farewell video, she said, they're in my head again. Don't look for it. She was found in the GreenLife laboratory, which was reborn into New Earth Solutions. She was sitting at the monitor, implanting chips into new children. She answered the journalist's question in a robotic voice. This is evolution. Ryan and Lisa, declared terrorists, fled to the country without extradition. On the day Lisa committed suicide by leaving a note saying, "They're in the water," Ryan received a package. Inside is a flash drive with Phoenix data and Jacob's baby bracelet. A message popped up on the screen. Thanks for the improvements. Protocol 2.0 is ready. You are the perfect model. In the mirror, Ryan noticed a blue streak on her neck. It pulsed to the beat of the words coming from the airport speakers. New Earth Solutions welcomes you. Your safety is our priority. Somewhere in an underground laboratory, Emma, with a chip instead of her left eye, injected blue liquid into newborns. There was a poster on the wall. The future starts with you.